Today, we're going to break down the mind of a true creative genius, someone who's pretty much defined the sound and style of the 21st century, Pharrell Williams. But we're not just going to talk about hit songs and fashion. Nope. We're going to get into the actual system behind his success, a framework we're calling the Pharrell Effect, engineering joy.
Okay, this right here, this is the key to everything. Just forget about chasing trends. For Pharrell, it was never, ever about what was popular. It was all about tapping into a universal human emotion. It was this obsession with a feeling. And that singular focus is what allowed him to create music that wasn't just catchy, but, it resonated so deeply that it could turn a simple beat into something that literally united the entire planet in a moment of pure joy.
So how in the world did he turn a feeling into a formula? Well, this wasn't just some artistic preference, it was the beginning of a whole system. He basically chose to tune into this one specific emotional frequency, one of just pure, unapologetic optimism that most other people were just ignoring. And that one choice, it changed everything.
Let's look at the moments where he completely zagged while everyone else was zigging. Back in '91, in his high school gym, everyone's trying to project this tough image. Pharrell? He goes for a space-age vibe. Then in the '90s, the whole industry is building walls between genres. What does he do? He starts sonic bridge building. All of this led to this huge realization. He could literally weaponize optimism. He could find that frequency of joy and make it his signature sound.
And this just perfectly sums up the massive philosophical shift that powered his whole career. He completely redefined what power even means. In a world that prizes being tough and hard, he argued that real authority, real influence, it comes from being open, from being awake to all the wonder and beauty that's right there in front of us. It's a totally radical way of thinking about what it means to be a creator.
So this brings us to the main event, the Pharrell Effect. What is it? It's the belief turned into a system that all the things that make you different, your otherness, your quirks, maybe the very things people made fun of you for, those aren't your weaknesses. They are, in fact, your most powerful, most lethal professional weapons. It's all about owning what makes you unique and turning it into your superpower. But look, turning your otherness into a weapon, that's not easy. That kind of mindset had to be forged in fire. To really get the Pharrell effect, we have to go all the way back to his origin story in Virginia Beach, where all these pressures around him actually created the sovereign mind he has today.
His youth was really a tale of two different realities. On the outside, he was this kid on the remedial track living in the Atlantis projects with absolutely no infrastructure for a kid who was into sci-fi and skateboarding. But on the inside, he had a sovereign mind. He literally saw colors in music. He had this incredible analytical hunger to figure out why things worked, and he started to realize his weirdness was actually his superpower.
And this is the part of the story where that inner world starts to become real. This is the forge. He meets Chad Hugo at band camp, a totally pivotal moment. He finally finds someone who speaks his language. And together, they realize their shared weirdness is actually a combined strength. But coming from Virginia Beach, way outside the music industry machine, they had to be 10 times more creative just to get anyone to listen. Making Rump Shaker back in '92 wasn't just about a hit song. It was a strategic escape plan to break free from the box the local scene was trying to put him in.
And all of this led to this crucial mental shift. During these years, he systematically, deliberately, unlearned the need for social approval. He figured out that to create something really new, something truly different, he had to be guided by his own curiosity, not by what other people decided was cool.
The result of that whole journey, of all that struggle, was something he called sonic sovereignty. And it's so much more than just confidence. It's this permanent, unshakable truth that his unique perspective, his sound, his vision, it was all his. It belonged to him. It didn't need a stamp of approval from anyone, anywhere to be valid. And that became the absolute bedrock of his entire career.
Okay, so once he has this sovereignty, he then develops this whole philosophy to protect it. And it's built on a really surprising foundation: radical humility.
His whole philosophy really starts with this idea of the emptied cup. It's a simple but really profound concept. You lose all your power the second you think you know it all. Your cup is full, right? There's no room for anything new to get in. So to stay creative, he believes you have to always keep your cup empty. Always, always be a student.
And that leads right into this practice of radical humility. And I want you to pay attention to the language here. He doesn't see it as just a virtue, it's a strategy. It is a conscious, active choice to stay in the student phase, to just keep learning,
keep experimenting, keep refining until the thing you've made is so good, so powerful, that it's just undeniable.
And the third pillar of this whole mindset is eclectic optimism. And again, this isn't just a mood he's in, it is a discipline. It's this core belief that the only real measure of your work is how much joy it brings to someone else. That's his North Star. That's the whole reason to stay a student, to get better and better at delivering that joy.
And this quote just nails how he puts it all into practice. His creative space isn't some factory for cranking out hits. It's a laboratory for awe. It's a place for wonder, for experimentation, for the systematic hunt for that feeling of pure amazement. It completely reframes creating something from being a chore into this joyful exploration.
Now, look, philosophies are great and all, but they don't mean a thing without action. So let's get into the concrete, daily systems and habits Pharrell actually uses to turn these big ideas into real, chart-topping results. This is the engineering part of engineering joy.
Which brings up a really fundamental question. How do you actually put humility into practice? I mean, if ego is the enemy of great work, Pharrell needed some kind of daily ritual to literally sweat it out of his system.
The answer lies in this number, 100 degrees. That's the temperature of the water he uses for his daily meditation ritual. And that intensity, that's the whole point. This is not some casual, relaxing bath. It's a deliberate, physical stress test designed to create a very specific mental state.
It's called the hot bath meditation. The whole idea is to use this intense physical feeling to sweat out the ego, to basically force a reaction that clears his mind. By getting through the heat, he strips away all the noise, the pride, the insecurities, everything, leaving just a clear, open channel for creativity and joy to flow right through.
And beyond that daily ritual, his whole creative process is a system for harvesting insights. Step 1, foundational curiosity. He's not chasing Grammys, he's looking for the vibration, that gut feeling when a sound or an idea just feels right. Step 2 is his collaborative model, soaking up the energy of legends like Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z. And step 3 is the commissioned audit, basically getting outside feedback to make sure his own pride never stops a song from being.
All these pieces fit together into his daily operating system. He uses a fixed schedule, a strict routine, not to be rigid, but to build a wall against all the chaos and noise of the music business. He systematically says no to being the isolated solo genius, always choosing to collaborate instead. And right at the heart of it all is that relentless daily search for the vibration.
So what's the result of all this? Of this philosophy and this system? Well, the proof is in a career that has completely redefined what a modern mogul even is.
This is not the story of a one-hit wonder. This chart shows count 'em, 3 decades of sustained cultural influence. From producing Britney's I'm a Slave for You in the 2000s to creating the global phenomenon that was Happy in the 2010s, all the way to hits in the 2020s. Longevity like this is so rare, and it is a direct result of his system. He didn't just have a moment, he built a machine for creating. And his influence just exploded beyond music, creating the blueprint for the modern multi-hyphenate. He's not just a producer and a musician, he's the men's creative director for Louis Vuitton, a film producer, an entrepreneur. He's proving that these same principles work in any creative field.
But you know, his biggest cultural impact might just be this. For centuries, we've had this romantic idea of the tortured artist, that great art has to come from pain. Pharrell's entire career just destroyed that myth. He replaced it with the powerful idea that the most profound art can actually come from pure, unvarnished joy.
And that brings us to his most powerful idea. For Pharrell, joy isn't some happy accident. It's the raw material. It's a core production strategy, a weapon that he uses to create work that connects with millions of people.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important part of all this. This story isn't just about Pharrell, it's a roadmap. It's full of lessons that any of us can take and apply to our own work and our own lives. Remember that kid on the remedial track? His journey is this incredible guide for anyone out there who feels like they've been labeled or stuck in a box or just tracked for an average life. It shows that your circumstances on the outside do not have to define your sovereignty on the inside or what you're ultimately capable of.
So I want you to think about your own life right now. What's one task, one project that you've just been dreading because it feels too heavy, too serious? Just get that thing in your mind. Okay, now, what if you applied the Pharrell effect to that task? What if instead of just gritting your teeth and pushing through it, you committed to the student phase? What if you came at it with radical humility and foundational curiosity,
just looking for a new angle, a different way in, until you found the hidden joy inside of it.
Because here's the final takeaway. The truth of who you are. It isn't in your job title or your resume. It's in the vibration, the energy you put out into the world. And your joy, that's not a distraction. That is the code. It is the key to unlocking your own unique form of greatness.